The Montreal Canadiens were finally back in action after 22 days off, and there were some big changes to the lineup. Cole Caulfield, Kirby Dach line up beside Nick Suzuki on the first line. Juraj Slafkovsky and Ivan Demidov stay on Oliver Kapanen's wings on the second line, while Alex Newhook is finally back in the lineup, lining up to the left of Jake Evans with Alexandre Texier on the right wing on the third line. And on the fourth line is what I like to refer to as the Bergevin line, featuring Josh Anderson, Philip Danault, and Brendan Gallagher. The defense pairings remain relatively unchanged, with Matheson and Gouli making up the first pairing, Hudson and Dobson on the second pairing, and Xhekaj and Carrier on the third pairing. The extra bodies not playing tonight: Zachary Bolduc, Joe Veleno, Patrick Laine, and Jaden Struble. Samuel Montembeault gets the first start after the break, and Jakub Dobeš backs him up. The Habs went into the Olympic break on a roll, going 4-0-1 in their last 5, sitting second in the Atlantic Division. But the playoff race, particularly in the Atlantic, is still incredibly tight. So the Habs sit tied with the Sabres and Red Wings at 72 points coming into this game. It's Ilya Sorokin drawing the net for the New York Islanders. Sorokin, 20-13-2 with a .244 goals against average and a .916 save percentage. Samuel Montembeault, his record sits at 10-8-2 with a .334 goals against average and an .875 save percentage. The start of this one was a bit of a feeling out process. Lane Hutson had the first shot of the game, but it wasn't very threatening. Sam Montembeault then got involved early when a centering pass found Anders Lee and he was able to get in front of it. Montreal went right back down the ice and it was Jake Evans' turn as he put one between the legs in an attempt to beat Sorokin. Then it was Schaefer who put a point shot towards the net that gave Montembeault a bit of trouble. He wasn't able to hand the rebound and the puck came right out to Mark Gatcomb. He was able to scoop up the loose puck, walk around Sam Montembeault, put it into the back of the net. It's 1-0 for the Islanders, but Montreal quickly challenged the play for offside, and fortunately for Habs fans, the play was rapidly determined to be offside. The goal comes off the board and the game stays tied at 0. Just a minute later, Montembeault again found himself fighting traffic in front. A shot from the point, deflected by Anders Lee, went right onto the stick of Tony DeAngelo all alone in front. Somehow, DeAngelo missed a wide open net, sending the puck back across the open net and into Montembeault. It was not a very convincing start for the Canadiens as the Islanders controlled the majority of play early. Lane Hutson had the first dangerous look for the Canadiens. Ilya Sorokin had a bit of trouble holding onto a shot through traffic. After that slow start, the Canadiens really started to turn things around, in large part due to a nearly 3-minute stretch of constant puck possession in the Islanders zone, started off by the Bergevin line and finished off by the first line. While the Canadiens weren't able to score, it was a great display of puck control and tenacious forechecking, and they were rewarded moments later when the former New York Islander, Noah Dobson, put home his 11th goal of the season. Lane Hutson picked off a clearing attempt in the neutral zone. He spied that the Islanders were caught out of position, swung the puck up the ice to his partner with space. Noah Dobson skated down the left wing into the face-off circle, ripped a shot over the shoulder of Sorokin, making his former team pay and giving the Canadiens a 1-0 lead in the first period. Sorokin had no choice but to respect the positioning of Nick Suzuki in front of him. He couldn't afford to commit 100% to the Dobson shot. And Noah Dobson, he's a really special offensive talent, and it is such a luxury for the Canadiens to be so deep on the blue line that he isn't even considered their best defenseman when he'd likely be a number 1 on the majority of teams in the NHL. The Canadiens kept the pressure up for the remainder of the first period, generating a few looks that came up just short. Then there was a point shot by Tony DeAngelo that just bounced around in front of Montembeault without reaching the net. It eventually came directly in front of Montembeault, who sprawled across to get in front of it, making one of his better saves of the season, really. Montreal responded, and a terrific play by Cole Caulfield somehow was able to get that loose puck over to Nick Suzuki in space, beat Sorokin, but not the post. He sent a rocket right off the wrister, directly off the iron and out. The Islanders got a look of their own, bit of a broken play on a 2-on-1, but the puck eventually found its way to Anders Lee, and Sam Montembeault was able to again get across, make the save, keep the puck out of the net. And the teams went into the first intermission with the Canadiens up 1-0. The Habs outshot the Isles 9-5, and minus that tentative starts in which they looked a little out of sorts, they managed to really turn things around, and they did look like the stronger of the two teams for the majority of the first period. If the Canadiens were capable of repeating that kind of effort through the remaining 2 periods, they shouldn't have any problem coming away with 2 points in this game. The teams traded chances to start the second period, Montembeault had to be sharp to stop a heavy one-timer from the point, and on the other end, it was Alex Newhook getting sprung on a partial breakaway. Newhook appeared to show some rust though after missing 40 games as he put his shot well wide of the net, and it goes down as a bit of a wasted opportunity for the Canadiens. Bo Horvat then had his chance that he put wide, but the big story early in the second was a bit of a crazy play off the boards. Cole Caulfield redirected the puck towards the net, it bounced off the leg of Sorokin and it went into the back of the net. And to me, that looked like a simple redirection of the puck, not a distinct kicking motion. They reviewed it, and they determined that it was in fact a kicking motion. They ruled the play illegal, and the goal did not count. The fact that the puck deflected off the goaltender didn't matter because of the fact that the puck did not touch any other skaters between the kick and the puck reaching the back of the net. So now both teams have had a goal taken off the board in this one. Noah Dobson continued playing brilliantly in this one, setting up a centering chance to Danault. It eventually led to a penalty on Scott Mayfield to give the Canadiens their first chance on the man advantage. And while the first power play unit didn't look very convincing, Noah Dobson and the second unit had 40 seconds to work with, and they made the best of it. Alexandre Texier was able to set Dobson up at the point. He unloaded a bomb from the blue line, fooling Ilya Sorokin and netting his second goal of the game and 12th of the season. That traffic in front made it really hard for Sorokin to see, but Noah Dobson making sure to make the Islanders pay for ever trading him in the first place. It's a 2-0 lead for the Canadiens. Halfway through the game, they're looking like they're in a terrific position to come away victorious in this one. We were treated to yet another display of amazing footwork by Lane Hutson. It didn't result in a goal, but it got everyone out of their seats. What a play by Hutson. And the offensive ability of that pairing of Dobson and Hutson, and the Canadiens defensemen in general, really has to be terrifying for opponents. They're just so proficient and talented in the offensive zone. It adds a dynamic to the Habs attack that few teams can really match. And the Canadiens defensemen got the job done in their own zone too, with numerous blocked shots throughout this one. And while that quantity of shots by the Canadiens wasn't particularly overwhelming, they piled up the quality chances as the second period progressed. But hold on just a second, a late penalty against Juraj Slafkovsky led to a late opportunity for the Islanders. And to make matters worse, Mike Matheson took another penalty right off the faceoff, giving the Islanders' 31st ranked power play a chance to not only cut the lead in half, but draw even with a minute and 53 seconds of 5-on-3 time. With the two-man advantage, the Islanders took a ton of shots. Montembeault made a couple of really nice saves shorthanded on Bo Horvat, but the rookie phenom Matthew Schaefer was able to beat Montembeault clean from the point for his 17th goal of the season. And while the Canadiens' penalty kill performed admirably, it gave way with 30 seconds to go in the kill. Montreal did technically manage to kill off one of the two penalties, and you thought they were out of the woods, but the Matthew Schaefer show continued. He directed a sweet no-look shot on target through heavy traffic, completely fooled Sam Montembeault, and it's 2 goals in 55 seconds for the rookie that not only brought the Islanders even with the Canadiens, but it brought Schaefer even with Oliver Kapanen in the rookie scoring race. Worst case scenario for the Canadiens, they played so well through the first 37 minutes of this one, and they end up going into the second intermission not even holding a lead. They go into the third period needing to just outplay the Islanders over the course of one 20-minute stretch to get the win. It's not the position they thought they were going to be in when up by 2 with 4 minutes left in the second period, but this one is still very much up for grabs. So they went into the third period, and Noah Dobson continued leaving his fingerprints all over this one, drawing an early tripping penalty on Holmstrom, giving the Canadiens their second chance on the power play. Unfortunately for Montreal, the first unit looked lackluster again, and the best chance of the power play actually went the way of the Islanders as Bo Horvat came down the right wing, let a wrist shot go on net. Montembeault got the blocker on it, and it was a less than ideal start to the period. Emil Heineman was then able to steal a puck from Lane Hutson at the blue line. He found himself in alone on a breakaway, but he put one well wide stick side, and the Canadiens finally did seem to spring to life after that slow start to the period, with the second line coming up with multiple grade A opportunities that ended up falling by the wayside and didn't even result in shots on goal. But the Canadiens drew another tripping penalty on the Islanders. McLean this time got his stick in the skates of Gouli, and the Habs got their third chance on the power play of the game. This time the first unit at least got a few shots on target, and as time was winding down on the power play, a Juraj Slafkovsky slap shot resulted in a broken stick. The puck bounced around off of Ivan Demidov, went through the legs of Ilya Sorokin, came right out to Cole Caulfield on the goal line. There was no way he was ever going to miss this one, and he puts his 33rd goal of the season into the net. puts the Canadiens back ahead by a goal. You've got to be lucky to be good. You've got to be good to be lucky. Cole Caulfield continues his march towards 40 goals, and the Canadiens continue their march towards a vital 2 points in this game. Samuel Montembeault then had to be the one to step up and make the difference for his team in order to reach the finish line in this one. He made a few really nice saves, including one glove save on Pajot that I'm still trying to figure out how he even saw, but he made a couple nice saves. The Habs defensemen stayed engaged in the game offensively, and they continued to put pucks towards the net repeatedly. So the Islanders, as they're known to do, pull the goalie with quite a bit of time to go, 2.5 minutes left. We all know the Canadiens' woes at 5-on-6 this season, so the Islanders start putting point shots towards the net, and it was their turn to get a lucky break when a point shot from Bo Horvat bounced off of the chest of Anders Lee directly by Sam Montembeault into the back of the net, and the Islanders pull even late. The Canadiens might end up kicking themselves for missing out on an opportunity for a second point. They make it into overtime, but the Canadiens had this one within their grasp, and they let it slip. They secure a critical point, but with Florida, Boston, and Pittsburgh all winning, they need to ensure they claim the extra point in this one. Nick Suzuki got the first look in overtime and was almost able to surprise Sorokin, who just barely got to the puck in time to keep it out of the net. And then Marty St. Louis delegated Phil Danault to take an offensive zone faceoff in overtime. Not only was Phil Danault unable to win the faceoff, but he just stood around as if totally unaware that he was playing at 3-on-3, completely flubbed the coverage, allowed Jean-Gabriel Pajot to walk the length of the ice on a breakaway, go in all alone on Montembeault, pull him to the 5-hole, ice the game for the Islanders, and give New York a 4-3 overtime win. Probably the worst play Danault has made all season. I don't know what he was thinking on this play, and it's a couple times this year in OT that he's had problems like this. He was looking directly at his defenseman, Noah Dobson. He knew Dobson was pinching up in the play, not covering the point. And instead of hustling back, he just stood there, allowed Pajot to get a running start, gave no one else on the team a chance to get back in time to make the play, and they iced it. And it was a very disappointing result for the Canadiens, a wasted point. Fortunately, they salvaged that 1 point for the overtime loss, but this should have been a win for the Canadiens. The Habs lose ground to the Red Wings, they lose ground to the Bruins. The good news is they remain 8 points up on the Jackets and 5 points ahead of the Capitals with 2 games in hand. They now look forward to Saturday against that very same Capitals team, trying to earn their way to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And have a great night, guys.